Well, hi there. You're watching and or listening to North of Weatherfield, a Canadian Coronation Street podcast.
And this week we are talking about episodes that aired in Canada from September 2nd to September 6th. So, if you haven't seen them yet, and you still want to see them and don't want any spoilers, this is not the place for you.
Avert your eyes and or ears. Otherwise, get ready for fun. My name is Brittlestar.
My name's Shannon.
These, of course, aren't our real names. Our real names this week are... Another fantastic one for the podcast-only crowd.
Joel? How could you?
Are you being DeeDee?
Yes.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I felt I needed like a fancier outfit, like I needed to be all like suited and booted, but you know.
Okay, here's mine. Ready?
Yep.
I just love you.
Oh, no, that's not a good Nick. Don't ruin Nick for me.
How could your husband ruin...
It's happening.
It was a good Nick, though. For those of you who aren't watching and just listening, I did it. I transformed. It's like I had makeup on. It was crazy.
So this week we are going to be talking about Nick, Toyah, and Leanne. We're going to be talking about Tyrone and his families. A bit about Tracy.
Okay.
A bit about Kit.
Okay.
Betsy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Lauren, Joel, and DeeDee, who were the big storyline this week.
I love it so much. I love it. I love it so much.
That's why I make you have to wait till the end, because otherwise you'll just disappear.
Okay.
So Nick and Toyah have decided that they would, that rather than paying Rowan his £20,000 extortion investment fee, they're just going to essentially call him on his bluff. Call his bluff. And
it helps because Nick wants to be with Toyah anyway.
I feel like he's like, oh no.
He's like, oh no, I lose Leanne. Wah.
Yeah, what will I do if she moves out on me and leaves me in my nice flat? So Nick points out to Rowan the fact that Rowan's already sent Nick that picture. So if the police get to see Rowan sent it to Nick, someone has sent it to Leanne.
Yeah.
Plus the voicemail that Rowan left
that Leanne still has.
No,
Toyah still has.
The voicemail was to Nick.
Oh, right.
Saying, pay up.
Yeah.
So he said, all those things, you're going to get done for blackmail.
Yeah.
And especially with your history under your other name, it's not going to look good for you. And it's definitely not going to look good for the Institute.
Exactly.
So
Rowan.
He retreats.
Yeah.
However, the next day, he interrupts, or rather that evening, he interrupts Nick and Leanne planning a bit of a family day out with Sam for the next day. And he's trying to win Leanne back. He's arrived with flowers, much as did Nick that evening.
Yeah.
It's a good day to be a florist shop around there.
Yeah.
And he says he needs help with a group seminar. So he needs her help with that. And when she's sort of swithering and says, we have plans, he then changes it to, well, someone really wants you to be there. Right. So Leanne assumes Willow. Of course.
Who we don't know if he is real or not.
We don't know. So this does get Leanne to abandon some of the family day plans.
Yeah.
And so she agrees. So the next day, her session with Rowan is finished early. No mention of Willow. So
no.
I don't know. We just ignored that bit, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they find out that Toyah is being discharged that day, so they're not going to be doing their family day out.
Right.
Also, though, Simon has texted and asked her if she can come and visit him.
Okay.
Because his boat is docked.
Because there's problems with the boat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Sam, being no fool, is like, hey, I should go with you on this somewhat tropical location.
Yeah.
Go away for a bit of a trip.
Yeah.
So Leanne agrees to take Sam with her, and Nick is going to look after Toyah.
Sure is, isn't he?
I was waiting for you to say that because I knew that was coming. So they head off in a taxi. Rowan runs up. Nick shuts down any attempt by Rowan to find out what's happening.
Yeah.
He's just like, not interested.
Yeah.
And Nick goes back to the flat. Nick and Toyah having a nice platonic time together, planning a day out the next day. Then Toyah ends up going and hanging out at the Platts for a bit of family time.
Yeah.
That's all going lovely until David, of course, makes reference to the fact that he knows that Nick and Toyah have slept together in front of Toyah.
Yeah. David's hair is going to have to get its own credit soon.
I think so.
It's going to be added to the credit. David's hair played by...
It is taller than his head.
Oh, it's much taller than his head.
It's impressive. It stays up.
It is impressive.
Yeah. So Toyah leaves, not happy about this, obviously. And they get back home and they're talking about it. And Nick says to her that he had to talk to someone about it because all he does is think of Toyah all the time. Mm-hmm. Even if he knows where she is, he wonders what she's doing. All he is doing is thinking about her.
Yeah.
That wins her round. Mm-hmm. So there's a bit of smooching. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, they're in the kitchen, all lovey-dovey and domesticated.
Mm-hmm. Dangerous.
But they spent the night just cuddling.
Dangerous.
I take it just cuddling because, Toyah has just had major surgery on her insides.
Hoo-ha.
No, that's just maybe where they accessed it.
That's pretty close to it, though.
It's close to it.
Yeah. It's ground zero.
And so they have a lovely time. They go to the doctor's appointment. And they're sitting there holding hands and for support. And he comes in and he says, everything looks good. No chemo.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on you, but everything looks good.
I was so pleased with that storyline ending like that. Not ending, but at least being tied off a little bit nicely now.
I thought that Toyah was going to be gone this time in 2 months.
I think it's too much. I think it's too much in the show in general to have Paul on his way out and have another character.
We'll just turn too callous. We'll be like, whatever.
Exactly. Just get rid of them.
Long-standing characters dying.
We can't care about that many people at once. Yeah.
So I did enjoy in this storyline the fact that Nick has just had enough of Rowan. He's just like shutting it down. He's just like not engaging.
And again, I love the fact that he hasn't said it explicitly, but he's basically, you can tell behind his eyes, he's thinking to himself, lose Leanne, get Toyah. Lose Leanne, get Toyah. Not a bad trade.
He's also thinking, Sam's my kid. Toyah likes Sam.
Yeah.
Sam can stay.
That's fine.
It's all pretty good.
Sure.
I also think it might be good for Leanne going down to see Simon because she gets to play mum a bit with both Sam and Simon there.
Wow. Okay.
She's not going to be like, she's out of Rowan's sphere of influence a bit more.
Yeah, that's probably good. Yeah.
And Sam's skeptical about the Institute.
I like how though you're surmising or hypothesizing about storylines that we'll never see. She's gonna get to play mom for a little bit. It's gonna be nice. She's down there, spend some nice time.
She comes back having spent lovely time with Sam, and the two of them.
And then one day she makes tea for them. And
so speaking of families, Tyrone and his families.
Oh, Tyrone.
So poor Fizz is trying to make the best of the no holiday situation.
Yeah.
Which is thanks to Alina and Dorin turning back up. But things are a little bit tense.
Yeah.
And Hope especially is lashing out. And then Fizz eventually gets her to explain to Tyrone that actually she's not angry. She's scared that he's going to leave them again for Alina.
Yeah.
Like he did last time.
I thought that was a fair kid thing to worry about.
I thought so too. And as a kid, there's nothing you can do about that.
No.
As the spouse, maybe there's something you can do about that.
Sure.
But as the kid, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So the next day, there's Fizz and the girls are going to be going to the cinema because Alina and Dorin are going to come and spend some time with Tyrone.
Yeah.
Hope is trying to rush them all out the door because she wants nothing to do with Alina and Dorin.
Yeah.
They arrive though, and of course Dorin, charming, line-filled little child, walks in talking, and Ruby is smitten, and she decides.
When he walks in, he sounds something like "uh-oh, uh-oh."
I can't remember, but he's
pretty chatty.
He's pretty chatty.
Yeah.
And so Ruby decides she's going to actually stay behind and play with Dorin, rather than go to the cinema.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be hard for Fizz and Hope because it feels like they've been abandoned a bit.
Yeah.
But fair enough for Ruby. It's her sibling. So those three all have a great time. But Alina gets a silent phone call that she says she thinks is from the trafficking gang.
Right.
A bit of a threat. And then later Ruby points out to Tyrone that maybe it's Hope that is making the calls, not the gang.
Okay, go on.
Go on. You don't think Hope would be capable?
No, I totally think she's capable.
Okay.
But I have a question about it, though.
Okay. Then they get back. Fizz isn't happy. Alina and Dorin are heading out the door. Tyrone hands the money for a cab. She's like, this is why we can't go to the Instagram restaurant, because you keep handing her money. And he says, Alina's getting silent calls. She thinks they might be from the gang.
Yeah.
And Fizz is like, who else could it be from? And Tyrone's like,
Old fire starter over there.
and Hope sees this implication.
Yeah.
And she is very upset, throws her phone at him, tells him to check it. It's not her, but the fact that he has checked her phone just absolutely destroys any further trust she has in him.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. And in light of all the stuff she's done, she's old enough to realize, you know what? I have sown the seeds of doubt. And this is justified. I don't think I should be taken at my word. But here's my question. Do we think that it still might be Hope? Still could be Hope. It's unlikely, but still
I think
could
it's
be.
unlikely because they were at the cinema.
Yeah, still could be Hope, though.
Yeah.
Do we think it is someone else in the Weatherfield sphere that's doing it?
No, because I don't think anyone else would have Alina's number. And Cassie wasn't around the first time she was there. Meaning Cassie would have possibly had her number nowadays.
But Cassie doesn't have an interest in getting rid of her. She wants to keep her.
Yeah, no, but just meaning, no, I don't think there's anyone else who would have it because she was the young hot thing on the street. Steve is not going to have an excuse to go and get her phone number.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
It'd be more difficult. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
But also then just to add to it, Fizz notices that there's £250 missing from their bank account.
Yeah.
Quite a sizable sum.
That's a chunk.
And Tyrone says, there was a problem with the work card when I had to pick up some parts. Kev's going to pay me back for it.
Right.
Goes into work and says, Kev, cover for me if Fizz asks.
Yeah.
And Kevin says, no.
I think I've got my own thing happening at the moment. I was in jail moments ago for burglary.
And then Tyrone points out, listen, I covered for you to Sally for a parent day one day. And then that just goes down even worse because Kevin feels that Tyrone has just been waiting to use this against him for a decade.
Right. A decade.
And it must be. It was when Rosie was at school.
Yeah.
So Tyrone realizes he's going to have to tell Fizz the truth, and he does. And he goes and tells her that he used the money to pay Adam to find out what his options were with regards to Dorin. I mean, a quick Google search could have given you 70% of the answer.
Yeah.
Probably for free.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, did he never think she was going to notice that money was missing?
Well, I don't know. He doesn't think that far ahead.
It's not like he works in the service industry, like waiting tables where it's like
He's got a bunch
he
of
can
extra
siphon
cash.
off some tips.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
but he also says weird things. Like Tyrone will say things like, "I'll just work some extra shifts." It's like, who do you think's paying you?
maybe they have something worked out.
Maybe it's a stretch.
Yes. So, anyways,
how do we feel about Alina? Is she cute? Yeah.
Yes.
She is. She does seem like a lot.
I don't think she's back for nefarious purposes at all.
I don't. I just mean personally. How do we feel about it? Let's let me go back. So she's cute.
You just meant, is she cute?
Yeah,
Yes,
she's
she
cute,
is.
but she seems like a lot. She seems like more trouble than the cuteness is worth, if you ask me.
Well, I mean, she's aged 3 or 4 years since
Plus
we last saw her.
Dorin's cute, but eventually you're going to be like, oh God, just be quiet, kid, for a bit.
It's no baby Maeve.
It's no baby Maeve.
Yeah.
That's right. Or Gloria even. She was good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Glory, not Glory.
Glory. Sorry. Yeah.
So speaking of people turning up again, Tracy.
I was shocked when Tracy reappeared.
I was too. I actually thought maybe in real life she'd gone off to have a baby or something, was doing a career change.
Or for whatever reason, because they did kind of give her a bit of a send-off.
They did. And I didn't think she was gone forever. I thought she was gone for a good 2 years.
And here's the thing is that, because I thought they gave her a decent send-off, but at this time I thought, it doesn't seem like a triumphant sort of, massive send-off that she might deserve because she's been on the show for so long.
She was teenage Tracy, was she?
She was not teenage Tracy.
Okay.
Which I only found out after watching. I've now, in the TikTok algorithm, I now get Coronation Street stuff. And I'm keeping away from spoilers.
Yeah,
I don't
careful.
see any spoilers. But it's good because the Coronation Street cast will do TikToks, but only after storylines have finished.
In the UK.
In the UK.
That's your danger.
But they're not tight. Like, they're doing it pretty wide.
Right.
A wide berth. But I thought she had been like the long-standing, long-time Tracy.
Yeah.
Kate Ford is her name.
Yeah.
But she wasn't the teenage one. I was like, oh, well, maybe she's not as much of a, the character's a big deal, but maybe she's not a big deal. But then she came back.
Right.
So I think she's just back.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, Cassie and Steve bickering, driving Ken crazy.
It's very grade 4.
Yes, very grade 4. Cassie's fed up. She tells Steve she's quitting.
Yeah.
Goes back. She's planning on telling Ken she's quitting, but she comes in as he's on the phone to his accountant.
Yeah.
Because he's just won £50,000 in the bond lottery.
Which I didn't know was a real thing until you said it was.
I didn't know it was still a thing. I thought it was just like a thing from the 1980s and earlier. So Cassie decides, oh, hold up here. I think I'll maybe stick around a little longer.
Yeah, yeah.
So this means that when there is a banging on the door and she opens it and Tracy barges in, shouting the odds at everybody, especially Cassie. This is why Cassie is very, I'm not going anywhere. Ken, what can I do to help you further while your daughter doesn't do anything to help you? Because Cassie's not leaving.
No.
But I did like that. So no one knew Tracy was coming back.
No.
Mary was quite hurt to find out she was back and not be told.
Find out secondhand that she was back. Yeah.
But I did like that Steve took charge of the situation and said, what's going on? Sit down. What's bothering you? What's going on with Tommy?
Have you broken up with Tommy? What's the deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it because he seemed so hung up on Tracy.
Yeah.
Prior to that, and I thought, oh, he's just going to be sucked right back in.
Yeah.
But he wasn't.
No.
Our Steve held strong.
Yeah. And so basically Tracy said she and Tommy are great, except that she never sees him because he's working all the time. And he has an absolutely gorgeous villa, but it's in the middle of nowhere and she's stuck there on her own. And it's driving her a bit crazy. She's lonely. So I thought it was, it was good. It was a bit of Tracy and
I like Tracy.
And Steve healing.
I like Tracy, and I like the woman that portrays Tracy. She's cool.
Kit.
I don't know how I feel about Kit. I'm getting a little bit tired of Kit.
Well, except that he smiles sometimes now. When he smiles, you're like, oh, he's not that bad.
You should just tell him that. You should smile more.
I should tell him he should smile more.
Just smile more.
Yeah.
That goes over great, I've heard.
Yeah. Especially to say it to police officers, I think.
Oh, police officers and ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bernie has shut up at the flat because last week, Paul was dying, basically, unable to breathe. Kit's trying to call emergency services. Yeah. Bernie has showed up at the flat while Kit's on the phone with emergency services. She calmly goes and gets I'm going to say an atomizer or a nebulizer. I don't quite know the term, but basically something that she puts...
Oxygen mask.
Something she's putting over his nose and mouth, and she's calmly just like, yep, no problem. Here we go, Paul. We're going to put this on you. Take some breaths.
It's all good.
Resolves itself.
Yeah.
They call Billy to come home. As soon as Billy gets home, Kit leaves. Bernie leaves. Right. Because she knows that Kit doesn't feel comfortable with her around.
Yeah.
So Billy convinces Kit to go and talk to Bernie.
Yeah. And
he finds her crying back at the house. And she admits that she's been staying strong for Paul, but it's absolutely killing her.
Sure.
And a bit of vulnerability. And the two of them go for a cautious pint together in the Rovers. Which is nice.
Yeah.
Because the acrimony was getting a bit much.
It was getting a little tiring, but at the same time, as I've said numerous times, there's no way that she should be just let off the hook.
No.
She has to really earn her way back in.
Yes. But he also has to realize if he cares about Paul, he's got to give her a bit of slack.
Plus, he's a bent copper.
So Kit is moving his things into the Rovers, flirting with Daisy as he's doing so.
Again, just like Alina. Cute. Seems like a lot of work, though.
She is absolutely uninterested, but this does not go unnoticed by Ryan. Kit and Ryan run into each other on the street, and Ryan is quite aggressively asking Kit what he thought he was playing at with Daisy. And I do quite enjoy that Kit, especially because he's quite like...
He's imposing.
He's imposing.
Sure.
He's not a big build, but he's taller than Ryan, similar build to Ryan. And he says, I was flirting with her. She's smoking hot.
Yeah.
And Ryan was like, ugh. Yeah. And he's like, but now that I know she's got a boyfriend, she's off limits, so that's fine.
Got it.
Ryan notices the bag of vinyl records to the rest of us that Kit is carrying.
Yeah.
Piques his interest. He and Kit end up bonding over pints about records.
Yeah.
So Ryan is crushing on Kit now.
Yes. There's
Daisy is rolling her eyes in the background.
A bit of a bromance happening there.
One side, I think Kit thinks Ryan's fine.
But Ryan's like, you're cool.
Even says, oh, you're looking for a gym to join? Come to my gym. I'll show you around my gym.
Do you want to go there right now?
We'll go for dinner after at the pub nearby.
Go for dinner after? How weird.
So Daisy is highly unimpressed with this new friendship.
Right.
Especially because Ryan, it doesn't even occur to Ryan that maybe on Daisy's night off, the two of them would do something together.
Yeah.
Instead, he's going out with Kit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously Kit and Daisy are going to end up together, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think so.
Maybe.
I don't feel we're going to leave Daisy settled.
No, she can't be settled. Obviously, she can't be settled. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's no one else.
Not yet. There might be.
I think it'll be Kit.
Okay.
Who else is up to that league?
Yeah.
If you don't know he's a bent copper.
That's true. Yeah.
And then Betsy. So she wasn't in it too much this week, but she was part of the pivotal change.
Was key.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Mason sees the bruise marks on her arm from when Joel had thrown her up against the wall. And he's worried that it's from the guy that's been texting her.
Yeah.
Quite accurately. She denies it, but he says, listen, you have to go talk to your mom about this. Good old Mason.
Good old Mason.
Part of the softening of Mason. He's like, this isn't good.
Good old Mason.
She goes to the station. Her mom sort of half blows her off, and then she realizes that Betsy's really serious.
Yeah.
And so they talk. We then see Swain leading Joel into an interview room. And she says to him, why have you been messaging my daughter?
That was so exciting.
Wasn't it?
Wasn't it exciting? Because it was like, oh, he's in for it now. How's he going to get out?
So she shows him the text messages, and he says, that's not my phone number.
Yeah.
And she says, doesn't mean you didn't send them.
Yeah.
I like that she's playing his semantics game.
She's like,
I didn't say it was your phone number.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Eventually, Joel admits that he did approach Sabrina when she was with Betsy in front of the police station because she was upset, offered them his card, offered some help. When Betsy started texting him, he figured she was just a bit lonely. At one point, he gave her some money, hoping she would sort of move on to someone else. And he's like, but you know what teenage crushes are like? Which I feel DeeDee gave him that line. I don't think it had occurred to him he could use the teenage crush line before then. But not first of all. So what I didn't see Swain pursuing is, wait, so why do you have a burner phone number that you hand out to young girls?
Yeah.
Right? Because now he said...
But I think Swain's putting it all together. She's taking all those little bits and she's filing them away.
Yes, but he obviously hasn't figured out how that bit's going to...
No.
He thinks he's swerving that.
Yeah, totally.
So then... I've got this under the Betsy bit, but this isn't... Now we're moving on from the Betsy bit.
Okay.
This is more the...
DeeDee and Joel and
DeeDee, Joel,
That's all that matters. That's the more exciting stuff anyway.
So DeeDee had suggested that Maeve should be a flower girl in their wedding.
Yeah.
Joel, putting off, isn't keen on it.
I did like how she said, but no actual duties.
No, she won't have to organize the hen do or anything.
She doesn't have to learn how to walk properly before then. It's okay.
And he says, listen, the divorce just got finalized today. Emily and I have only been communicating through lawyers.
Right.
I don't want to get in touch with her. Maeve won't remember anything. Not worth it.
Yeah.
DeeDee then secretly invites Emily to lunch to ask her if Maeve can be the flower girl. And Emily says, listen, you seem like a nice person. Be careful. And she says, you know, now that the divorce is final, I can tell you some things that I couldn't tell you before because everything was up in the air. For instance, I've seen all his outgoings and he still has that flat.
Yeah, that was a bombshell.
Yes. And
plus, I liked it as well because his ex-wife, Emily, she doesn't have any skin in the game.
no, she
She's
didn't
like,
seem,
I'm out, man.
No.
I'm just giving you a heads up.
And then it also seemed like, and also she wasn't complaining about Joel.
No, she's like, listen, just be careful. I know this stuff.
And then, of course, she's proven correct by the fact that when DeeDee goes home and finds Joel's briefcase that he's conveniently left behind.
A lot of stuff being left behind.
He got in a lot of trouble for leaving his iPad behind only a few days ago.
It's like he's got a bunch on his mind.
So she finds the keys and goes into the flat because she knows she was at the flat before. So she knows where it is.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, so Emily was right about that. And she'd asked Emily also about the bracelet that Joel bought for Maeve because she wanted to give a little charm for that bracelet.
Exactly.
And Emily's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. It was good, wasn't it?
And
I loved this all this part.
DeeDee goes into the flat, rummages around in
This was the worst part, though.
TV cabinet and finds a bottle of nail polish.
It's like, we haven't made a bedroom set yet, so don't go in there.
Nor a bathroom set.
So like, just stick to the entertainment cupboard.
Yeah. Really nightside table, toothbrush. That's all you need.
Plus also, okay, so she goes in, and I'm sure this is the next thing you're going to say. She goes in, she rummages through, and she finds the nail polish.
Yeah.
In this sideboard.
Yes.
What?
No, especially like there's a hair clip on the table, which you found.
Exactly. But if you're going to put, like, if you're Lauren and you're a young woman, I understand you're maybe not tidying up after yourself, but you're not tidying up and putting it in a stupid place.
No, unless Joel had stuck. I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
We're making excuses for Joel.
I think so. So Joel comes home.
DeeDee. Yeah.
DeeDee is seething. She confronts Joel about the flat because she thinks he's having an affair and keeping his fancy woman there.
Yeah.
And he eventually admits they belong to his subletter, but he didn't tell her he was subletting his flat because that's illegal. Yeah. And she's a lawyer.
She's like, yeah, right, pal.
He also then says, well, I was also embarrassed because I needed that money to help give you the wedding you want, darling. And then she says, well, what about the bracelet? Emily says that you never gave Maeve a bracelet.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, she pawned it. She always does that whenever I give Maeve anything nice. She pawns it. So he's thinking fast.
But it's getting harder and harder.
The next morning, Joel is on the phone with Swain.
Yeah.
Because Swain has discovered that he was previously Lauren's duty solicitor. And so he has actually known Lauren for a year or more.
Yeah. Yeah.
From when she trashed the salon.
Yeah.
So DeeDee is sitting at her laptop, covertly Googling Manchester Jewelers.
Yeah.
Vogling Manchester Jewelers.
I mean, exactly. Just voggle it.
Until she finds the one that the name rings a bell because she did see the receipt for the £300 at the jeweler's.
She was like Crowd or something.
Yeah.
It was Crowder's.
Yes. And then she punches in on their site, what can I buy for £300? And
the necklace. The
necklace that Roy drew and that
he painstakingly remembered.
And that Hope eventually handed over to DeeDee, who gave it to Joel to hand in to the police as evidence. So DeeDee is now waiting in the cafe for Roy's return from visiting Kathy.
Yeah.
And as soon as he walks in, poor Roy is overwhelmed. Everyone's around him. And she's just like, is this the necklace?
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Swain comes in to get a coffee. Really, most crime work is done by just starting to hang around Coronation Street.
Yeah.
You suddenly get all the inside
That's the thing.
dirt.
Yeah. Why bother doing anything else?
Exactly. And she says to Swain, whatever happened to that necklace of Lauren's that was handed in. And in a very unswain-like moment, she said, "Oh, I don't remember. There's so many bits and pieces. It's hard to keep track of them."
Yeah, that was a weird line.
Especially because Swain's got Lauren back in her mind again.
Yeah.
So I felt that was a bit weird. She's uncharacteristically unconcerned.
And I don't think that she was hiding anything. I don't think she was like bluffing.
No. Well, obviously she didn't know about it because as we find out, as we find out later, because DeeDee asks Joel about it. But meantime, DeeDee goes to visit Lauren, asks about the duty solicitor thing. Lauren's giving nothing away. She's just like, yeah, no big deal. She says, it's okay. You know, me and Frankie are going to be leaving soon anyways.
Right.
She says we were supposed to have moved to Northern Ireland before he was born, but he came early.
And then that.
And DeeDee's like, oh, yeah. And she says, yeah, we're really looking forward to heading to Belfast. Belfast?
Belfast, wait a minute. That's in Northern Ireland.
I don't know Northern Ireland well, but I can't name another city off the top of my head.
Off the top of your head? No, that's the biggest one.
That's the biggest one. That's probably where most of the flights from Manchester go to. Belfast.
I did love the fact that she has like Northern Ireland. Oh yeah, that's cool. Belfast. Wait a minute.
So now DeeDee's head is spinning. And she and Joel go to lunch and she asks him, hey, what did Swain ever say about that necklace that you handed her? And he says, oh, I didn't hand it to her directly. I just handed it in at the desk. You know, maybe it went missing. It's just like throwing the other police officers under the bus. They probably stole it. Crucial piece of evidence in a murder, potential murder investigation. So he's got to go. He leaves, gets in his car and starts it. And does same as he did outside Lauren's flat that time. He is yelling, screaming, hitting his head.
A lot.
Me too. He is losing it.
Yeah.
Drives away.
Yeah.
DeeDee comes out. Suddenly they both have cars that have prime parking spaces.
Great parking spots.
Yeah.
Great parking spots.
She gets in her car and follows him.
Yeah.
Finds him at the hospital. Peers in at Lauren's room. He is talking heatedly with Lauren. And all the pieces fall into place for her. Poor DeeDee. Joel comes out and finds her kind of collapsed against the wall.
Yeah.
And he says, what are you doing here? She's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
And he said, oh, a client was running late, so I was just popping in to see them. And she's like, well, you better get going then.
Yeah.
And he heads and she goes in to talk to Lauren, but Joel does not head. He sort of hides outside and listens. So Lauren's still denying everything, but then DeeDee brings up the necklace and Lauren realizes jig's up, game's over.
Up. Exactly.
And she says, something did happen between us. Joel is the father.
Right.
She emphasizes that Frankie is hers and hers alone.
Yeah.
She wants nothing to do with Joel.
Yeah.
That at first he was helping her out and she desperately needed it. But then he started expecting something in return for the help and money.
Yeah.
And now she is absolutely terrified of him.
Yeah, fair.
So at first DeeDee was reacting as if she was talking to a love rival.
Yeah.
That she'd caught in the act.
Yeah, of course.
As opposed to going, oh, this is an 18-year-old girl.
Yeah.
He's a 35-year-old man.
He's obviously taking advantage of her.
And then DeeDee realizes that it would have been Joel that attacked Lauren, which is just another, like it was bad enough to think
he's messing around with
he's
this
messing
woman.
around with this person and that he's fathered a baby.
Yeah.
Now you realize,
wait a
he's
minute.
the
He's
one
the guy who tried to kill her.
who ended up putting brain matter on a leg of a chair.
Yeah.
So Joel is now no longer outside the room.
Oh, he is gonzo.
She takes Lauren to the police station. They're waiting, but they don't know that meantime, Joel is in an interview room with Kit.
Yeah.
Confessing, you know what it's like, mate. She was just pursuing me and I was in a moment of weakness. I gave in.
Yeah, it's like you and I are both 6'5". You know what it's like.
And that she kept throwing herself at him and that he just gave in. And that he is the father of the baby. And but he had to come to the police because he discovered that Lauren had ordered abortion drugs online
Right.
and took them trying to get rid of the baby that he desperately wanted. So smart move.
Smart move.
Very smart move.
Yeah, but dastardly.
So DeeDee has gone into the interview room as a friend to Lauren because she can't be her solicitor in this case.
Yeah.
But she's gone in as a friend, and Swain is interviewing them. And we don't see the testimony, but they're both absolutely horrified at the end. And they're like, he was grooming you. This is not to do with you.
Yeah.
So they all exit and they see Kit and Joel in the lobby. Poor Lauren starts panicking and losing it.
Yeah.
Kit is trying to go over and tell Lauren that he needs to question her about receiving illicit drugs, basically.
Swain tries to arrest Joel.
Swain is trying to arrest Joel. Everybody's talking and shouting at the same time. And then when Swain hears what Kit wants to talk to her about, she's like, oh, yes, I definitely need to talk to you about that as well. Because procuring drugs for your own abortion is more serious than beating a teenager you got pregnant over the head, leaving her for dead?
Well, I mean, obviously not. But I mean, at the same time, I think it's just like the law's the law.
Yes. But meaning, it's like, Swain, maybe that questioning can wait just a little. Let's deal with the attempted murder guy
by
first.
the book, our Swain, though.
No, she's not.
No, she's not.
So everyone on the street is now talking about the fact that word has gotten back that it might have been Joel that attacked Lauren. And Sarah just keeps asking if this means Nathan is going to get out.
Yeah. Fair.
And they point out with the stuff on his hard drive, the evidence about Lauren is not the only reason he's in jail.
No, but the evidence that was planted is an issue now.
Yes. And Sarah is realizing that this is what is now what might prevent Joel from being held to account for everything.
It's because
it's Nathan.
Kit.
It's supposed to be Nathan.
But Kit planted the evidence, though.
No, Sarah did. I thought.
No, Sarah didn't.
I thought
she was going to, and then Kit had it in a little bag, and then she said, "Get out of here!"
Right.
And skedaddle, and then she did, and then he went back.
Right. But Sarah knows where it came from.
Yeah.
Because Sarah knows.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. He didn't say skedaddle.
Didn't he?
No.
Oh.
No.
So Swain is questioning Joel, and because he's saying Lauren ordered the drugs online. He's like, how did she do that? We looked at her bank accounts.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I think actually she paid cash for them, probably. And they're like,
Online?
How do you do that? Well, maybe she borrowed a friend's credit card.
Yeah.
I thought it was good when Swain said, I don't think a girl like Lauren thinks that far ahead for that many steps.
Yeah.
Whereas, someone who's a lawyer knows how the system works.
Got him bang to rights.
Might take extra precautions like that. So Joel is released, which causes a tizzy on the street. And poor Lauren is now under suspicion. They're keeping an eye on her because they're worried she might harm her baby, I think, is the implication I got.
That's the,
meaning she can't.
Unfounded, but yeah.
Yes, yeah. I couldn't figure out why Sarah was in DeeDee's office with Lauren, apart from trying to gain information about once again saying, is Nathan going to get out?
I think that was it.
But her phone, DeeDee's phone kept ringing. She kept ignoring it. It was Joel calling.
Yeah.
Actually, she just kept looking at it as it was buzzing. And then finally, when they left, she pressed the hang up button. Could have done that earlier. Then she's back up in the flat and opens the door to Joel, who she invites in, and he says he messed up and he still wants to be with her.
Good luck.
Is it though? I don't know.
No, it's not good luck. I was being sarcastic.
No,
Sorry.
meaning I think I don't know.
You think that she's going to get back together with him?
I don't know.
No, there is no chance our DeeDee's going to get back together with Joel. Listen, DeeDee she's not an idiot. She's disappointed. She's probably depressed. She's probably hurt. But she can't ignore all the stuff that she's put together in her head. She just won't be able to.
I hope not.
Plus also her dad, Ed, was listen, he's consoling her and stuff and gave her a big hug. And
yes.
When he didn't know the other part of the story. He only knew the cheating part.
I don't know what he knew. We don't really know what he knew.
He said something about the cheating.
Yeah, and I did think it was good, and this was good Ed advice from earlier before DeeDee knew what was going on.
Ed?
No.
Okay.
But when she was saying she wasn't sure if he was cheating on her, and Ed said, either you trust him or you don't.
Either you trust him or you don't. DeeDee.
But I thought that was good. It's like, yeah, you can't spend your life looking for evidence of something, which some people do, I think.
Sure. Yeah.
So is Sarah going to admit about the hair strand evidence being planted?
No, because she's already hidden somewhat successfully, a dead body in her back room.
Yeah. Well, no, that was found eventually.
I don't think it was.
No?
No, they dug it all up and then it just disappeared overnight.
Into the sinkhole, maybe.
Maybe, exactly. There must have been a moment during that sinkhole that all of them in the Platt family went, no, they're all gone. It's all good.
Well, in that case, maybe is this one more reason for Sarah and Kit to get together since they both know about this?
I can see that happening more than Kit and Daisy. The height difference between Kit and Daisy is too extraneous. Sure, I'll say that. It's too severe. There's no way. If you stood the two of them side by side, no.
Always go for the 6'5" guys.
It's too much. It's too much because he would hurt his back. He'd put his back out, bending down to give her a hug and a kiss.
Well, there's probably a lot of 6'5" guys dating 5'4" women. You could tell that too.
They've all got sore backs. Probably.
So, there we go.
Moments.
So, I had a couple moments I really liked.
Okay.
I did like Tracy on discussing her loneliness in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Said, everyone I know is around here. I don't like them, but they're here.
I saw you write that down when the thing came out. I was like, oh, that's how Shannon thinks.
That is how I think.
No offense to the people we know around here.
No, or the people I know anywhere. Yeah. I quite like being... I like being by myself. I'm happy with alone time. I'm always quite surprised when I end up going places or working places or something, and I end up making friends with people. Because, yes. So I get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I also really liked, we haven't seen Lily in a while.
Yeah.
She's getting bigger.
Yeah.
I loved the fact that she had an identical copy of Shona's messy bun.
Yes. Yeah.
It's that very much, I'm heading into my teens. I don't quite know enough.
That's what adults do.
Yeah, I don't know how to do, I don't know what my style is yet.
Yeah, but that's what adults do.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Also, has anyone told Amy that Tracy's home?
Is Amy still at that retreat or is she back?
No, she's back.
She's back from that.
Because that's when she started looking into investing the money.
I'm trying to think if there was a moment where someone said they were going to go out for food or something together.
That was when she was supposed to have come back last time for Mother's Day or something.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's typical Tracy, though, isn't it?
But, Steve could tell her. That would be a good idea.
Yeah, true.
Ken.
True.
I also thoroughly enjoyed Kevin sitting in the Rovers after saying to Tyrone, no, not going to cover up for you. And he is sitting there eating his hot pot, reading the back pages, having the best day of his life, just spitting insults and opinions.
Just chirping everybody.
Yeah. Saying to Daniel, who are you going out with now? You still going out with that Bethany Platt?
I did like how I really felt a little ham-fisted, but I like the idea they were like, we're going to make him a curmudgeon. That's going to be his thing.
Well, he's always been a curmudgeon.
But now he's actually aged to that point where it's like, yeah, you're into full-on curmudgeon.
But also just that he's sitting, like, facing out to everyone, watching.
Just watching and commenting.
Like, yeah.
Commentating.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, that was good, Shannon. It was good. It was a lot of work again.
It was an exciting week.
It was an exciting. I'm so excited about the Joel stuff. So excited.
Joel breaking down in his raging desperation is excellent. Both times he's done it in the car.
Yeah.
Is just, the fact that he always does it in the car.
Yeah.
Makes me think, how many other times has this man done this in his life? Obviously it's his safe space.
Sure. And
where he goes.
But what I liked about it is that I have done that before. I haven't done anything nearly as bad as Joel. But you would get angry and you close the car door and you're like, and you feel like you're in this soundproof container. You feel like no one else can hear you. But of course, everyone can kind of hear you. They sort of...
if ever you hear someone on their a cell phone that's connected to their car,
It's
you
super
hear
loud.
every word that the other person says.
Exactly. Well, thanks so much for watching and or listening to North of Weatherfield, of course. You can find us at weatherfield.ca, where if you sign up with your email address, you will get an email notification every time there's a new episode. You can also find us on your favorite podcasting platform. What did we were in the top 50 again, I think, for after shows in Canada.
I don't believe you. You just said and approximately top 50 for something.
Well, I can tell you today we've dipped right down to like 190. Last week's episode did not have staying power.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I guess that's just the curse of Coronation Street podcasts.
Yeah. Wait, aren't we the only one?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you go, Shay. Oh, yeah, that's everything else. Did I forget to say anything?
No, I think you remembered everything.
I did everything. Fantastic. Thanks again for watching and or listening. We'll see you next week. Take care. See ya.